everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Design Dialogues podcast. Today we're tackling a topic that comes up a lot, whether or not you should charge for that very first client meeting. Now, I know there are strong opinions on both sides of this, but I want to challenge how you think about value, positioning, and the way you set up client relationships from the very start. Because the truth is, your goal shouldn't be to make a few $100s on an initial meeting. It should be to create long-term, high-value client relationships. And if you're thinking, okay, but how do I balance this without wasting my time? Don't worry, we'll get into that. And if this is something you struggle with, think about possibly booking in for a systems and processes health check. This is exactly the kind of things we tackle in them. So, the real exchange is not money for time. It's money for value. A lot of designers think about this time like this. My time is valuable. I don't want to give it away for free, so I should charge for an initial consultation. But here's the shift. Money isn't exchanged for time. It's exchanged for value. That very first meeting, it's not about selling your hours. It's about selling trust, expertise, and the outcome you can create. You're not just answering questions. You're guiding clients through their decision-making process. So why is charging for an initial meeting working against you? Imagine you're a potential client. You've never worked with a designer before, and you're meeting a few people to figure out who feels like the right fit. Now, this person might not understand how much work is involved in a design project, and they might really be at the start of their renovation or new build. So they come across two designers. One invites them to a free discovery call or in-person meeting where they listen, ask great questions, really get to know them and their project, and they leave feeling like they really understood what's happening. The other charges $300 just to talk before they've even demonstrated how they work. Which one are you more likely to move forward with? I always think about it in this way, and it's a experience that I had with an accountant or with two accountants. I used to go to an accountant that I never felt like I was a valued client. I felt like I was just there for them to make money off. And I knew that every single time I sent an email, I picked up the phone to just ask a really quick question, I knew that I was going to get an invoice. And that really made me feel like they weren't interested in the success of my business. They were just interested in making sure they made the most money out of me as possible. I moved away to another accountant that charges more than what the original accountant does, but I feel like a valued client to them because I can email them or pick up the phone and ask them a quick question, and I know that I'm not going to get charged. I know that I'm not going to get sent an invoice in the next few days for that 15-minute time block. Now, obviously, if it becomes a larger scope of work for them, then yes, I get charged. I'm not expecting them to work for free. And yes, at the end of the year, I'm sure that some of those little 15-minute time blocks gets added into my end of year invoice. But at no point do I feel like they are just exchanging time for money. I feel like they are invested in my business and they are invested in the relationship that they are building with me. The same applies to us. The thing is as well, if you are just exchanging time for money, you are putting a ceiling on what you can earn because there are only so many hours in the day. So have a think about if you are charging purely for the time you spend doing something, do you need to take on more staff to increase your revenue? Or is there different ways that you can increase your revenue? Because if you are purely just time equals money, then you are going to cap out. So a smarter way to protect your time. Now, I'm not saying you should give away free advice, redesign someone's home over coffee, or let every inquiry drain your schedule. You need a structured process that filters out time wasters while making it easy for serious clients to say yes. Here's what I would recommend. Have a clear pre-client process, a short discovery call, some screening questions on your website that clearly state some budget levels that you work in. Make sure that you are qualifying them without giving away full design advice, and qualifying them really early in your pre-client process. Don't waste time going to client like an early meeting, an on-site meeting, getting to know their project if you already can see that they're not going to have the budget to work with. Set expectations early. Be clear that this first meeting is to see if you're a right fit for their project, not a free design service. And the third one is offer a paid service for smaller scope clients. Not everyone is going to need a full service design, and that's why having a separate structured offer can be a real game changer. Here's the reality. Not every potential client is ready for a full design package, but that doesn't mean they aren't willing to pay for some level of guidance. This is where having a separate paid service for those smaller needs can protect your time and give you an additional revenue stream. Think about things like Designer for a Day, a one-off focused design session where they get hands-on help with layouts, selections, or troubleshooting their space. Floor plan and finishes review. Perfect for clients who have an architect's plan or builder selections and just need a professional eye to refine their choices. Or maybe it's a virtual consultation package, a structured service where they get 90 minutes of expert advice, plus a follow-up summary with your recommendations. By having this in place, you can confidently say, I don't charge for initial meetings, but if you're looking for quick, targeted advice without committing to a full project, I do offer a one-time paid consultation. This approach filters out people looking for free advice while giving those who truly value your expertise a way to work with you at a level that makes sense for them. And you will be surprised at how often these clients who start out with this smaller scope of works, these smaller, the people who want the small offering, come back to you and realize they actually need you for the whole project. And if structuring all of this feels overwhelming, we walk through stuff like this in the systems and processes health check all the time. So you can have clear boundaries, a smooth client flow, and a way to serve different levels of clients without burning yourself out. Final thoughts. Play the long game. At the end of the day, business is about relationships. The best businesses are the ones that have strong relationships. The best clients aren't the ones who hesitate over a $300 meeting fee. They're the ones who are ready to invest thousands in a full-scale project because they trust you. So instead of focusing on charging for that first meeting, focus on creating value, building trust, and setting up a structured system that guides the right clients to the right service. That's it for today's episode. I hope this gave you some fresh ideas and motivation to refine how you run your studio. But here's the thing, having the right strategies is one thing, actually implementing them is another. And if you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or just unsure where to start, that's exactly what my Systems and Processes Health Check is for. It's a one-on-one deep dive into how your studio runs, pinpointing where things are working, where they're not, and giving you a clear roadmap to streamline your processes. And the thing is, my health check is different from other mentoring out there. We don't just talk, we put together clear, actionable items that I hold you accountable for, because I want to make sure that at the end of the health check, you see a real difference in your business. Imagine having a studio that runs smoothly, where you're in control, and where you can finally focus on the design work that you love. If that sounds like exactly what you need, head to the website to book in your health check today. Thanks for tuning in, and if you found this episode helpful, share it with a fellow designer who could use these insights too. See you for our next Design Dialogue.